Hey Harmonizers, we are at a horse show. This is King's first ever horse show that I'm going to ride him at, so super exciting. We have come to a little schooling hunter show. It is absolutely stunning and gorgeous here, and it's the perfect kind of spot. Sarah wanted to come and do her first show with Alicia. You guys will have to stay tuned for that one. And we came along just to school, so I just brought him to start with. We just kind of watched what was going on and just kind of settled in the ring. A lot of the times when I take off the track thoroughbreds to their first show, they're kind of really upset at their first show. It takes them a while to settle down. Everywhere they've gone before, they've either been sold or they've had a new trainer or they've gone to a race. And so it can take them a little bit to realize that this is actually going to be a fun experience. So we just kind of hung out a little bit, ate some grass before I did any riding. We just kind of watched a little bit of the show and the 100 people going around. And it was the perfect combination of being a little bit busy, but also being pretty quiet. And so when I brought him into the ring to go ride him, there was just one other horse in the warm-up ring at that time. So it was a pretty handy time to be going in because there was schooling going on in the actual show ring. And I purposely came not thinking that he would be ready to show or anything. So I just came in my jumper pad and I'm not dressed to show or anything like that because I thought, let's just school. And I find that's a really good strategy with horses when you're just taking them off site for the first time, is don't even put the stress on yourself to compete. Just, take your horse and have a good experience. And then once they're good, then you can be ready to show the next time. And so I wanted to show you just getting on him there at the mounting block that he was, pretty willing to stand still there after he did a couple circles and got in position there, and nice and quiet walk going off. So all in all, I was like, okay, like this is great. Like this is really easy so far compared to some horses when I take them off site for the first time, especially the thoroughbreds, because usually their lives are, very high energy, and going off site means something very big to them, usually racing, being sold, being at an auction, something like that. So he was really, really quiet. I still kind of took things pretty cautiously. So I started with some trot, just making some turns, making sure that he was staying focused on me before I started going around the whole ring. And the ring was nice and big and spacious, which was great. And at the far end of the arena, you can kind of see in the video, but there's a whole bunch of different colored panels. They had like kind of a storage area over there with a bunch of funny looking props and some cattle gates and all sorts of things. So I was a little bit unsure if that would be a little bit scary for him. So we just started at the end that was kind of close to begin with. And then as we did our session, we slowly got a little closer and a little closer to that end with the obstacles. I wanted to keep his first offsite experience very calm, very relaxing, very positive. And take note that I am riding him in the Fusion halter. So I'm still doing everything bitless at this point. Haven't seen a need or a purpose to put a bit on him at this point, and I won't until the vet comes to do his teeth. And then once that is cleared, I might put a bit in. For example, if we're going to show dressage at the makeover, then we would need to start training on a bit for the competition. So we'll see how that goes, because he does seem to have some natural ability and kind of enjoys collecting a little bit too. So we'll kind of see a little bit of that as he goes around here. So overall, I'm feeling pretty impressed with him at this point. He's listening. He's not getting really excited when I go into the faster gates. He's doing his transitions. All is seeming really, really easy for him. And I'm not sure if it's because, that's just who he is, or is it because we did that Liberty restart together where I did a whole bunch of sessions with him with no tools whatsoever when we were in Florida, and I worked him with no halter, no rope, no round pen, no whips, and trained him to ride walk, trot, canter off the racetrack, literally using nothing, and developed a lot of trust between the two of us. So I'm not sure if that partnership's really paying off. Here you can see some nice little contact that he's giving me, starting to stretch down, use his body a little bit better. Lots of talent in there. But I would definitely say that this was probably the easiest first off-site experience I've ever done with a thoroughbred. And the reason why I say first off-site experience because you might be thinking, well, you followed me and he went with me to the Horse World Expo, which is true. But when he went to the Horse World Expo, it was part of our journey home from Florida, and I didn't ride him there. He didn't really do anything other than get led around and hand walked. So that's why I'm saying my first offsite experience, like for riding him. That's the first place that we went where we trailered, arrived, and that was that. Whereas the Horse World Expo, we trailered in, he got to stay in a stall, he got settled in, and was there every day for a couple days, which is a bit different. So here, looking really nice, picking up that canter, I felt really comfortable on him. Sometimes when I take horses to their first offsite shows, we do walking obstacles and we don't even bother with trot or canter. Just depends on the horse and how they're feeling. We all know what Alicia looked like going to her first show of the season last year before she won the Thoroughbred Makeover. Her August show was pretty exciting, to say the least. Leaping up in the air, and I had to have somebody lead me from the ground through our pattern because it was going so dragon-like, is what we call Lissy. So in contrast, King is so different. And again, I'm not sure how much of that I can attribute to his Liberty restart. His first little jump there, super awkward. But I want you to keep in mind that as we're doing this jump, we're doing it in that direction because of where the ground line is. We have to do it in the direction towards home. And this particular schooling ring has no gate on the in and out exit, like the entranceway. There's no gate. So it's completely open towards where the camera is. It's completely open. So we're jumping towards home where there's no gate. So I'm taking things cautiously, just trotting him there. And then he was feeling so amazing that I'm like, all right, well, let's try cantering this and see how it goes. So we come in at the canter and he just lopes over it so nicely and gives me the correct lead and everything. So I'm like, you know what? That's fantastic. We're going to just finish on that note. So I end up giving him a cookie on that note and saying, all right, we're done riding. We've accomplished everything that I wanted to accomplish. And most importantly, that he's calm and relaxed. He felt just so wonderful. I'm like, he is so dreamy. Normally I'm all about the mares. I love my mares. I love my gray mares, especially Khaleesi and Alicia. They're just super awesome. But I'm falling in love with my bay gelding here. So then this place is kind of cool because they have a little paddock of cows and they were all kind of sleeping up against the fence here. So I thought, all right, well, here, let's take him for a little look at these cows. You can see I'm giving him some cookies because he's not freaking out or being upset by them at all. And then I'm like, well, we'll just work on getting a little closer to them because they do have cows that show up at the Thoroughbred Makeover as part of the ranch class. And one of the things, like, I'm not really sure what I'm going to compete in. Definitely freestyle, but then it will either be dressage, ranch, or trail because I don't think I'm going to do a jumping discipline because he's just too young. He's fine to do a couple jumps here and there with me. Like I did 3 jumps in this entire session here offsite. So he's fine to do a couple of jumps here and there, but I wouldn't want to train him for a jumping discipline at just 3 years old. I don't think that would be wise for his body. I don't think that would set him up for success, but I would like to show a couple jumps in his freestyle. I think that would be really cool. And then I've got to figure out what is his other discipline going to be. Some of you guys suggested dressage in the last video where I asked that question about King. And then here's a little look at the cows. So we'll see. And then he's so calm at the trailer. Look at that. He's such a little sweetheart. So I hope you guys enjoyed coming to King's first show.